Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Medical Mindset Coach podcast. I am your host, Freudenberg, and I'm here to talk to you today about this really incredible technology that I've just also launched at the clinic. What is it called? Drumroll. It's called the Styku 3D body scanner. And to all of you who don't know what that is, that just sounds like a bunch of words that's going through the one ear, out the other, and you go, body scanner, 3D? What does that mean? Styku, what is the etymology of this word? Where does it originate from? Anyway, doesn't really all matter, those things. But in summary, if you actually want to see, if you want to see what it looks like, if you go onto my YouTube channel, #please subscribe, because I'm going to be launching more and more videos and posts teaching about techniques, daily practices, things to watch out for, information to know, how to improve yourself, right? We've got a video on there that demonstrates what this machine looks like, how quick it is, how simple it is, and just gives you a better visual idea of what it's all about, because my learning is through visual and auditory. Some people it's kinesthetic, touch, all different. But I like to, I'm the person who's drawing pictures and colors, that kind of thing, to retain in my memory field. So if you'd like to go watch, rather than necessarily listen or read, there is some access. But if you want to know more about it, you can go on to my website, themedicalmindsetcoach.com, drop down services to Styku, and then there's got some explanation as well as a video and some representation aids or visual aids about how your scan report will look like, which is really, really cool. All right, but all that as a side note, what is it? Right, in summary, it's a non-invasive body scanner that has an automated measuring process. It's a machine you step on. You can either be clothed in your gym clothes, it needs to be tightly fitted clothes, hair needs to be tied up, or you could do it in your underwear, or if in the privacy you'd like to do it naked, you can also do that. And it takes only about 35 seconds to do a scan. So you'll step on this rotating turntable that will be met with a scanning device, which is basically going to be stationed as a pole just a few feet away from you. And it's going to scan your whole body. And while this turntable is turning you, it's going to be basically doing a 360-degree scan of your whole body. It's going to be tracking your body, your measurements, which we call digital measuring tape. So it will basically take your scan or your hologram and then impose measurements like a dietitian or a nutritionist would do. So you'll be able to register that. It's going to be tracking your posture, your weight, and gives you ideas based on your health right now or your measurements. What is your risk potentiality of disease based on your health at the moment? Right. Then it's also got a section, and this is more aimed towards fat loss or weight loss specifically. But of course, if it's people for bulking, you can obviously track the changes in the centimeter or /inch change. But this is traditionally aimed at people who are wanting to lose weight. And then we have a feature that will be able to help you assess, what is your BMR? So your basal metabolic rate, what your calorie burning potential is, then based on what you're actually burning at the moment, based on your BMI. And then we can give you goals of if you want to drop a certain amount of pounds or kilograms, when you'd be able to reach that goal, how many times you're exercising. It can tell you how many calories you need to create as a deficit in your diet currently at the moment. And this just really is a fantastic accountability tool, really, because when we have a vision of a goal and we know what we're working towards and we know we have something to strive towards and we know someone is making us accountable, we really put our head in a very different frame and mindset compared to if you just go to the gym a couple of times. And again, it's one of those issues that you see in yourself every day in the mirror, don't know if you're noticing changes, and that kind of hypothetically demotivates you, even though it shouldn't, but it can, and it does. And you sort of just think like, am I actually making any progress? So now we have a visual aid or tool to go, okay, this is what you've done. Depending, the idea may become monthly. This is what you've done. This is the diet you followed for the month. These are the exercises you've done. Let's see now how that's taken form on your body, right? And there will be a case where, which is very common that I get with people, that they'll say, I've done everything, but this belly fat is just not budging. Or, I don't know, the arms, the weight on the arms are not budging. Or you may be losing weight quite rapidly and the skin is quite loose. So there's obviously various things that can be addressed with other methods that I have in the clinic. But in terms of this is to help you see. So the thing is, if you're also one of those people a bit private or uncomfortable, this is a scan you can also do in the comfort and in the room by yourself. I don't even have to be present for it. The machine will walk you through the whole steps and process. Of course, I can be there to do it. And then you can do it in the comfort of your own energy and your own space, which is so fantastic for COVID compliance, in the sense that, there are some people out there who are still quite, I'm going to say quite intense about the protocols of having social distancing, wearing face masks, and that's absolutely fine and completely with respect, because everyone has their different reasons and belief systems surrounding these topics. So, this is obviously beneficial to address and help provide some services for people who have a little bit more, I would use the word, fear towards getting or catching the virus, right? So benefits in that regard is that it's a touchless system, so there's no handlebars, there's no potential mixing or spreading of different, human interaction. So this makes it very attractive for, like I said, for practicing social distancing. The scan will assess your health risks of underlying conditions. So the Styku estimates your risk of diabetes, can be cancer, and using its precision and accurate body composition measurements to be able to carry that out, right? So there's a really interesting feature that if you do comparative scans, it's going to sort of track you on a timeline scale. So then you'll start to see sort of your fluctuations, maybe change in season, maybe change in diet, maybe you dropped off, and then weren't sticking to things. And then it's going to help measure your progress, as you try to flatten those curves that are, built up, especially during quarantine. A lot of people, I'm going to say the word, forgot how to exercise or just didn't bother. If the end of the world's coming, is that the most stressful thing you want to do, is be in your best shape? No. I mean, I personally was thinking more like just binge whatever you want, buy everything off Amazon, exploit your credit card to the max, and binge watch TV and programs, right? And just hang out with your loved ones where you can, right? But on the side note, now that the end of the world didn't actually happen, now we have to face the consequences of our actions. So, there is no better way than, I think, losing visual centimeters with the 3D, losing inches or centimeters with this 3D visual. Right. So it's one of the best technologies that are out there on the market. So there is a similar technology out there, but this technology is crazy expensive and not very easy to get to, and it's stuff that would be used in sort of the hospitals when there's some really massive urgent problems that people need to be assessed and tracked for. But this is basically, in terms of access to the public, is one of the best machines you'll get out there. So it is imported from America. It took quite a number of months to come here. But it's got an incredible reputation, incredible stories behind it. And I really took pleasure in investing in this technology because I came to learn about it a number of years ago. So I think it was 2019, actually. Yeah, about 2019, when I was started working in a different center, which was a high high performance, an athletic high performance center that basically people would go in there and you'd have different lounges. You'd have like the Detox lounge, which is the one I worked in. And then you'd have people doing the exercise lounge or the oxygen hyperbaric chambers, IV drips, light therapy, DNA blood tests. It was really, really cool. But then since I obviously branched out into do my own practice because I thought it was much better, because based on my personality, I think it's better I work for myself because I'm quite fluid, adapting and changing. And, I just want to obviously make sure I can grow at my own pace, at my own comfort, and have myself to report to. Anyway, side note. So I think the most important, again, just reiterating back to the point, is that the Styku really helps or enables your commitment to be increased, like basically accountability, staying on track, helping you reach your goals at a higher rate. And then, of course, when you are stuck or something's not shifting, or something's not like moving in the way that you want to, or just your metabolism wasn't at the rate that it was, you are with a professional who is able to help you with tips, tricks, lifestyle changes, making you more aware of some practices that maybe you should employ better, or maybe add to your thing, or even things you have to take out, and / alternative therapies or treatments that might be able to really fast track your progress. I'm all about biohacking, right? And this is something else I'll talk about in a future episode, where I'm going to bring on, I would say, a colleague, friend, fellow practitioner, about talking about a very incredible exercise that I really, really resonate with, that is about biohacking. So this keyword, if you don't know what biohacking means, it's like hacking biology, hacking the body, basically being able to do things more efficiently, which I'm always all about. I'm trying to make things more compact, efficient, and beneficial in a shorter space of time, but optimizing maximum results, right? So, this is one of the ways to be able to do that. So the Styku, coming back to it, but we'll talk about that. So it's all about biohacking. So I'm just, again, sort of on this grand exploration, just trying to find therapies, protocols, practices, and make this really compact sandwich that when you come to me, you can just do everything in one go, and it just feels like it's one session, but it's just so powerful, profound on the body. And then you actually are really happy because you're getting the results that you've desired, and you don't have to seek elsewhere, because I'm almost, as people quote, the one-stop shop, right? So Styku's been around for some time. They've reached over 1 million scans already, which is pretty good. And they're talking like a per individual basis, not literally one person 10 times. It's quite globally renowned. They got like, I think a base of over 1,200 locations, or you might even be 13 to 1,400 now, speaking in more than 30 countries. So it really provides a wellness assessment almost every 60 seconds on average every single day. So it's doing really, really well. And coming back to sort of learning styles, people are visual, people don't necessarily remember numbers, and that's coming from an ex-accountant. But people can remember their scan, it's a objectively demonstrated progress when you are on a scale, right? And the most important thing I really like about this technology is that you shouldn't focus on the scale. I think the scale is a very traumatic process, right? You can be building muscle, because part of my genetics is that I just build muscle like a man. Like if I go to the gym and I do weights, I cut very quickly. And this used to, I'm going to use the word disturb me when I was in my adolescent stages, because, I'd go to gym and then I put on the scale, and then all of a sudden I put on, 3 kilograms or, 5 pounds, that kind of thing. And then my psychology was like, oh my gosh, I'm really, really fat. I'm really heavy. I weigh a lot. Like no one's going to love me. No one's going to accept me. I had really like this teenage girl mindset. And then I used to get, in a sense, bullied at school because people would be like, wow, you're really, really heavy and no one wants to be with a heavy girl. And, you know, but then I used to think, but no, actually, but I'm a lot more ripped than these people are, or, you know, a lot more cut and, you know, a lot more agile, and I had different skills. But then again, I've come to, when you get older, you learn, right? You learn and you understand a lot more and have a lot more wisdom in your favor. But the idea with the Styku is that this can split/break down all of your measurements. It's going to tell me how much bone mass or lean muscle mass you've gained, how much fat you've dropped. It can split your fat into what we call subcutaneous fat and visceral fat. And for those who don't know, subcutaneous fat is just fat that's sort of like on the outside of your body. That's, you know, not literally outside, but under the skin, but it's sort of just overhanging over the muscles or the organs. But then you get, which is just sort of good, you know, I would say it's inverted commas, normal fat. But then you get the toxic, potentially life-threatening fat, which is called visceral fat. And this is fat that's hidden between the organs and the tissues that you want to kind of make sure you have very low amounts of, because this is where disease and illness originate from, right? Because all of these toxins will then leach on or slash into the organs, making them sluggish, making them stagnant, making them slow, poisoning them. And that again will slowly create disease and illness, right? So if for example, you know, you might, and this is again a case of where you might get people who look externally healthy and well, but all of a sudden they die, you know, they'd be like, what happened? They looked so healthy. But, you know, we don't really know how that is in the body. And that's why I love the work that I do, is because I'm working in the body and I can tell you real time what is under the hood and what's going on. And this is what the Styku scan promotes, is because you might, for example, do a massive training session. I'm going to try to talk in pounds now. It's a foreign metric to me, but I'll do my best, you know, where you can do, just for example, have an incredible month. You jump on the scale, you just see you've dropped 3 pounds and you think like, but I've done incredible, I've pushed myself, and you get quite demotivated. But the reality is, if you stepped on the Styku, that's going to be like, you've dropped 10 pounds of fat, you've gained 7 pounds of muscle mass, or let's even say 6 pounds of muscle mass, increased a pound of your bone mass as well, dropped of your fat, let's say like half a kilo in visceral fat, and then the rest in just subcutaneous fat. So it's really got an incredible technology to tell you and sort of break down what has been happening in your body, which will support your understanding. And then I think most importantly, one, you're being accountable, so you know you have to report to someone, and therefore that's pushing you to stay consistent and motivated. But two, it also supports you in understanding how much you're helping your health. Because if you have a high kilogram or slash percentage of visceral fat, you need to take that more seriously versus someone who's just got a few kilograms of subcutaneous fat that they could lose. So yeah, so just going off all on that. You know, another commonly asked question that I get, people say, well, you know, I'm quite overweight. If I stand on the machine, will I break it? You know, it's quite, you know, a vulnerable question. And the answer is that the Styku can support up to 250 kilogram measurement. So I think that's quite a lot. I haven't met anyone to date that's, you know, pushed that kind of boundary in terms of weight. But you know, not to say that there might never be someone, right? Because, you know, there's a lot of different, you know, people out there that might need such as some support like that. So, you know, just to let you know that we can really rely on the Styku. So you shouldn't be worried or self-conscious or think that, you know, for example, you're too big or you can't step onto the Styku. It's absolutely completely possible. So to just reiterate, the Styku is it's got the coaching and metabolic tools, so it can help you provide goal setting, the risk analysis, like I said, for disease or illness, and it's also, just speaking about the metric scale, it's got a conversion ability. So if you need to talk in centimeters and kilograms, Styku is your friend. If you need to talk about feet and inches and pounds, Styku is your man. So, that's absolutely wonderful. What else can I talk about the Styku? I just love it so much. Instant results, absolutely instant results. So it's not like you have to wait 5, 10 minutes, 20 minutes for the scan, to sort of generate the results, or / in the old school days, when I was younger, going to dietitian / nutritionist, they just sit there, take these things called calipers. So it's basically like metallic crab hands, and they just pinch your fat and make you feel awful. And then they go, your fat looks like your da-da-da-da percentage BMI, that kind of thing. Whereas this is just instant. You literally stand on the thing, 30 seconds, within the minute you have your results. So it's real-time feedback. And yes, and then it's a really cool feature because on the laptop that I do the scan on, the laptop is a touch screen. So we can literally like swipe the finger to do a 360 rotation, like sort of like a model 360 rotation. We can zoom in, we can zoom out, we can touch things, we can edit things, that kind of thing. So it's really, really interesting. But the most important feature for me at the moment, besides for that, is the posture feature, right? So I'm working with a very, very dear friend who's a specialist in chiropractic, cranial sacral therapy, alternative medicine healer. So yes, he is teaching me a lot about posture, so we're doing a lot of theory and understanding in posture related issues. And that's tying in with my work in colonic hydrotherapy, because when you have a gut that's really inflamed or swollen, balloon-like in essence, that's going to really be affecting your posture. It's going to be pushing your pelvic floor out, your back out, your spine out, therefore your neck. Your neck extensors or flexors will then be out of place. Your hyoid, to the sort of your Adam's apple, everything is out, and then you're going to then have poor posture. And I call this from kinesiology, your gaits, kind of poor gaits for walking, for standing, for sitting, for sleeping. This can then, stem to being, creating more as different alternative symptoms, such as commonly known as, common ones are headache, migraine, back pain. And then of course that's going to alter your posture in your feet and your knees and your hips, and just long-term chronic issues, isn't it? But now, with corrective actions, we can prove through your posture how things are improving. So we can see, okay, for example, doing before colonic, we'll do a scan, and then after maybe a couple of treatments or 3 treatments, then we can track your posture again. We can track your posture after you've been to, for example, to a chiropractor or an osteopath, or, whoever you're seeing for a certain therapy that you're trying to, or even after rehabilitation or physio, those kind of things. If you've had an accident or injury, anything of the case, this can really, really be, again, your visual tool to see if progress is happening and making changes. Right. But yeah, again, the Styku will superimpose what we call the digital measuring tapes. And it does 21 precise body circumference measurements across your torso, legs, your arms in a full 3D motion. And then there's another feature that I use for aesthetic treatments, for example, fat dissolving injections. We can do a measurement before that can track sort of maybe your key area, maybe for example is your abdomen, can track that, and then we can do when you come for your follow-up session, how many centimeters you've lost. So again, we have an accurate measurement tool to be able to help you assess your progress changes. So how it all works is that basically it's a scan you do, and then you will get emailed this really comprehensive 28-page report that gives you a full detailed breakdown, understanding, measurements, etc. But as mentioned, it's really the beauty or the gold really comes from comparative scans. So you can really track to see how your circumference has changed, your decrease in risk for disease and various disease and illness issues. Can really help you keep on track about helping you understand what kind of calories you need to be consuming, how many calories you need to go into deficit on a daily basis, your likelihood of when you're able to reach your goal, So it really helps you with a track, a timeline, a date. It helps you really to unpack what is actual fat you're losing, what muscle mass you're gaining, what bone mass you're increasing by, which is good because any arthritic conditions we can really help improve by. And it's all done in a different color by color display focus as well, which I really like because I'm a color person. And all that big mouthful. I think you should come give it a try. So it's a very quick and easy thing. Probably if you want to come for your first time scan, I'd say book out half an hour appointment and come experience the world of biohacking. So yes, that is the Styku 3D scanner. I got all lost in all of that because I'm very excited about it. So again, just to reiterate, if you want to understand what it looks like, please log on to the Medical Mindset Coach YouTube channel. There's a 3D it's called a Styku 3D fitness tracker video, just to get a visual aid and understanding of how it looks like. Or alternatively, go onto my website where you'll have some screenshots or some photos of how it looks like. But very easy to use, very quick to do as well. So it's very time efficient. And then we take it from there. All right. So wherever you are in the world, wishing you a wonderful day or evening, and we'll chat next time on the next episode, which I don't know what I'm going to speak about as of yet, but there's always so many things that come up in the week and I'm just like, oh, I need to talk about that, and that. So we'll see what organically comes up next week. Have a good day and catch up with you soon. Bye.